Sam, are you starting it?
But who do you go to now?
1 minute.
Yeah, let me know. We have 1 minute. Just make sure your phone's
Yeah. It's okay.
on silent.
Because it's confidential, I'm not even going to be in here anyway. It's just I won't have the recommendation. So we won't be able to have it to read out when we come back behind closed doors. So I'll put it in the Shire President's agenda. Yeah, if you can email it to me, please, that'd be great.
Are we ready?
Yes, can we ask Councillor Noon to turn her camera on?
Councillor Noon, can you please turn your camera on? Councillor Noon, can you hear us?
You might be on mute. Okay, go again, Shire Pres, sorry.
Sorry, Councillor Noon and Councillor Fox, can I have your cameras on, please? Thank you. We good? Good afternoon. I declare this meeting open at 1:01 p.m. Welcome to the Shire of Ashburton Ordinary Council meeting being held at the Shire of Ashburton's Onslow Council Chambers in Onslow. Please ensure your mobile phones are turned off or set to silent for the duration of this meeting. This meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded. Please remember to use your microphones when speaking. Council meetings are public and any information you provide may be recorded and could be publicly accessible. Please note that the council chambers do not operate under parliamentary privilege. Elected members and staff may be held personally liable for any defamatory comments or breaches of confidentiality. Statements made during council meetings are solely the views of the individual speaker. Comments cannot be attributed to the Shire unless formally adopted by a resolution of the council. Elected members and employees must disclose any financial, proximity or impartiality interests related to agenda items. This declaration should be made at the start of the meeting or at the latest prior to the item being discussed. Disclosures must comply with the Local Government Act 1995. Elected members who disclose a financial or proximity interests must refrain from participating in discussions related to that interest and must leave the meeting during that time. The confirmed minutes of a council meeting serve as the official record. Recordings of council meetings must not be copied, republished, or reproduced without the express permission of the Shire. As representatives of the Shire of Ashburton Council, we respectfully acknowledge the local Indigenous people, the traditional custodians of this land where we are meeting upon today, and pay our respects to them and all their elders, past and present. Item 2, announcement of visitors. We do not have any. Item 3, attendance. We do have 2 councillors linking in via online, so I will read my declaration first. In accordance with Regulation 14C, subsection 2B of the Local Government Administration Regulation 1996, I have approved Councillor Fox and Councillor Noon to attend this meeting via electronic means, noting that they are instantaneous communication with the meeting. Councillor Fox, can I please get you to read your declaration?
In accordance with Regulation 14CA-5 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, I declare that I can maintain confidentiality during the meeting or the closed part of the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Fox. Councillor Noon, can you please read your declaration?
In accordance with Regulation 14CA5 of the Local Government Administration Regulations, 1996, I declare that I can maintain confidentiality during the meeting or, if required, any closed part of the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Noon. 3.1. Present at this meeting are listed and presented on the screen. Guests, we do not have any. Members of the public, we do not have any. And members of media, we do not have any. Sorry, can we have a correction on the employees and include Jordan?
She's there.
Is she? Oh, sorry, it's not on mine. My apologies. Thank you. 3.2, apologies. We do have one. It's Councillor Kieran Day. 3.3, approved leave of absence. We do not have any. Question time. 4.1, response to previous public question taken on notice. We do not have any. 4.2, public question time. Manager of Governance, do we have any public question? We do not have any. Thank you. Item 5, declaration by members. 5.1, due consideration by elected members to the agenda. Elected members, please state that you have given due consideration to all matters contained in this agenda. Councillor De Pledge.
Yes.
Councillor White.
Yes.
Councillor Rumble.
Yes.
Councillor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councillor Rogers.
Yes.
Councillor Fox.
Yes.
And Councillor Noon.
Yes.
And me, myself, yes. Item 5.2, declaration of interest. A member who has impartiality, proximity, or financial interest in any matter to be discussed at this meeting must disclose the nature of the interest either in a written notice given to the Chief Executive Officer prior to the meeting or at the meeting immediately before the matter is discussed. A member who makes a disclosure in respect to an interest must not preside at a part of the meeting which deals with the matter, or participate in, or be present during any discussion or decision-making process relative to the matter, unless the disclosing member is permitted to do so under Section 5.68 or Section 5.69 of the Local Government Act 1995. Mr. Woodward, could you please read the declaration of interest?
Thank you, Madam President. Councillors' declarations of interest for agenda items 14.2 and 15.1 have been noted and received from several elected members. However, as previously advised, due to ministerial approval not being granted, both these items are to be deferred to a later ordinary council meeting to be determined. Moving forward, the following declarations of interest are disclosed for items 16.1, Notice of Motion, 087-2026, Shire of Ashburton, 2026-2027, Small Business Grant Program. Councillor Noon, impartiality. I am a board member of Picky and a member. I currently sit on the Picky board as Vice Chairperson and my business holds current membership. I am able to maintain impartiality in regards to decision making on this item. Councillor Sullivan, impartiality. I have been canvassed on this item by Councillor Noon in an email titled Proposed Notice of Motion seeking support on 31st of the 7th, 2026, where Councillor Noon states, I'm writing to seek your support for a proposed notice of motion to amend Council Decision 087-2026 related to Small Business Grant Program. I can act without bias on this item. Councillor White, impartiality. I have been canvassed by a councillor. Name, Councillor Smith, Shire President Smith, impartiality. I have been canvassed by Councillor Noon seeking support. I am a small business registered in the Shire. I am a member of the Pilbara Inland Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Picky. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr Woodward. Item 6, announcement by the presiding member and councillors without discussions. I do not have any. Is there any councillors who have announcement?
Yes, I
Councillor
have.
Rumble.
There are two announcements. Today is the Long Teng anniversary of 1966 when Australians were over in Vietnam, and today, hopefully across the nation, the flags will be flying at half-mast for those national service people that lost their life in that particular event. And so that's good. And I requested that by the Shire if the flags could be ran at half-mast today, so I hope they did. The other item is Tidy Towns. Paraburdoo did a major clean-up in Paraburdoo. The amount of rubbish we collected up between the Paraburdoo intersection at Camp Road to the tip was a full trailer load, and from Paraburdoo town out to the airport, a heap of rubbish, tyres and everything, and also some easement areas in the houses around some of the blocks in Paraburdoo. We collected an amazing amount of rubbish, and I'd like to thank the Shire for their support, the Director of Gavin Harris for supporting our collection, and Keith. And I'd also like to note that Volunteers WA sponsor us, and also Rio Tinto. It was a joint effort, and we're putting our submission into the Tidy Towns WA on this Wednesday, and hopefully Paraburdoo and the Ashburton Shire will get an award over this next few months for an outstanding community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rumble, and thank you to
Next year we'll put in
Tidy Town. Sorry, councillors. And to the Tidy Town Paraburdoo team, great effort.
And I overlooked, I'd like to thank Lee Tumridge, who lives in Perth and's done an amazing job on that, and she visits Paraburdoo every year, and her husband. So they're part of our community group, so thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further announcements, councillors? There's none. Item 7, petitions, deputations and presentations. 7.1, petitions, we do not have any. Deputations, we have not received any, and presentations, we do not have any. Item 8, application for leave of absence, we have not got any. Item 9, en bloc council resolution. 9.1, agenda items adopted en bloc, we do not have any. Item 10, confirmation of minutes. 10.1, confirmation of council minutes. 10.1.1, minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 21st of July 2026. The officer's recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 21st of July 2026, item 10.1.1, attachment 1, be confirmed as a true and accurate record. Councillors, can I have a mover and second to resolve the recommendation for item 10.1.1? Councillor White and Councillor De Pledge. Is there any dissent? If there is no dissent, I'll take that as carried. 10.1.2, minutes of the special council meeting held on the 28th of July 2026. The officer's recommendation that the minutes of the special council meeting held 28th of July 2026, item 10.1.2, attachment 1, be confirmed as a true and accurate record. May I please have a mover and second to resolve this recommendation? Councillor Rumble and Councillor Rogers. Is there any dissent? If there's no dissent, I take that as carried 8-0. 10.2, receipt of committee and other minutes. We do not have any. Item 11, recommendation from committee. AR1 2025 audit compliance return. Councillors, due to an administrative correction that needs to occur in relation to this matter, this agenda item is deferred until a later ordinary council meeting to be determined. ARI point 2, audit log status update. The recommendation from the committee. The Audit Risk and Improvement Committee recommends that council endorse the closure of 3 validated internal audit action number 255, 276 and 277 as detailed in attachment 1. 2. Note that internal audit findings 274 and 275 are classified as archived in progress and will be retested as part of the next Regulation 17 review. And 3. Received update internal audit log, outstanding and closed action reports dated 10th of July 2026, also as provided at attachment 1. May I please have a move and second to resolve this committee recommendation for item ARR 1.2, audit log status update. So mover,
I'm not on the committee.
Councillor Rumble and Councillor Sullivan. Is there any dissent? There's no dissent. I take that as carried 8-0. ARI point 3, internal audit, annual independence declaration 2025-2026. The Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee recommends that Council 1. Receive the internal auditor's annual independence declaration for the period of 1st of July 2025 to 30th of June 2026. 2. Notes the matter disclosed in this report regarding potential or perceived threats to organisational independence that were communicated through established governance processes. And 3. Notes the internal auditor's confirmation that organisational independence of the internal audit activity was maintained during the reporting period in accordance with the Internal Audit Charter and the Global Internal Audit Standards. May I please have a mover and second to resolve this? Councillor Sullivan and Councillor Rumble. Is there any dissent? If there isn't, I'll take that as carried 8-0. ARI point 4, internal audit schedule, August 2026 to November 2026. That the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee recommends that Council 1. Notes the progress of the internal audit endorsed up to May 2026, being the internal audits of corporate credit cards, contract management and local emergency preparedness. Endorse the rescheduling of an internal audit to January 2027, March 2027, being the internal audit of fire break management. 3. Endorses the continuation of one internal audit from August 2026, being the internal audit of local emergency preparedness. And 4. Endorses the commencement of one internal audit from August 2026 to support part of the Regulation 17 review, being the legislative compliance review. May I please have a move and seconder for this item? Councillor Sullivan, seconder. Councillor Rumble. Is there any dissent? Being no dissent, I take that as carried 8-0. ARI point 5, internal audit report, contract management. Committee's recommendation. The Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee recommends that Council receives the internal audit over contract management report as detailed in attachment 1. May I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Sullivan, seconder. Councillor De Pledge. Is there any dissent? Being no dissent, I take that as carried 8-0. Item 12, Office of the Chief Executive Officer's report. We do not have any. Item 13, Corporate Report Service. Corporate Services Reports. 13.1. Monthly financial statement, July 2026. The officer's recommendation that Council, in accordance with Regulation 34 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, accepts the statement of financial activity and associated documentation for July 2026 as included at Attachment 1. Councillors, are there any questions in relation to this item? All right, there's no questions. May I please have a move and second to resolve this item? Councillor Rogers and Councillor White. Is there any dissent? There being no dissent, I take that as carried. 8-0. 13.2. Monthly schedule of accounts paid July 2026. That Council, in accordance with Regulation 13 and 13A of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, confirms the monthly schedule of accounts paid for July 2026, inclusive of purchasing card payments for July 2026, as included in Attachment 1. Are there any questions, councillors, in relation to this item? So there's no questions. May I please have a move and second to resolve this item? Councillor White and Councillor De Pledge. Is there any dissent? Being no dissent, I'll take that as carried. 8-0. 13.3. Proposed changes of scheduled meetings, Community Grants Committee and Ordinary Council Meeting 2022 September 2026. That Council approves the relocation of the Community Grants Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 22nd September 2026 from the Barry Lang Centre, Panawanika to Council Chambers, Onslow Administration Building, Onslow, with the adopted commencement time of 8:30 a.m. remaining unchanged. 2. Approves the relocation of the Ordinary Council meeting schedule for Tuesday, 22 September 2026 from the Barry Lang Centre, Panawanika to Council Chambers, Onslow Administration Building, Onslow. 3. Approves the change to the commencement time of the Ordinary Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 22nd of September 2026 from 1 p.m. to 9 a.m. 4. Authorises the Chief Executive Officer to provide public notice of the amended meeting arrangements in accordance with the requirement of the Local Government Act 1995 and Shire of Ashburton Standing Orders Local Law 2012. Are there any questions in relation to this item? Yes, Councillor Sullivan.
Yes, my question is just regarding, I'm not a member of the Community Grants Committee, but I understand there's substantial things that will be looked at next meeting. Is there going to be enough time between an 8:30 start to consider all the things that need to be considered for the Community Grants Committee meeting? Obviously, because you've then put the 9 o'clock Ordinary Council meeting as the proposed start time.
I might direct that question to Director of Corporate Service.
Look, through the chair, in the absence of the Director of Community Services, that's probably a very good question. If there is a number of grants, I guess the alternative, as I believe the opening of the desal plant is 11 o'clock. The alternative would be is that we reschedule the Community Grants Committee meeting for the afternoon, if that was permissible, say 3 o'clock. And then it could basically go for as long as necessary for those people, if that suited the people on that committee.
Through the chair, given the advice of the Director of Corporate Services, I would like to propose an amendment change to item 1, which is taking the advice of the Director with the adopted commencement time of 3 p.m. remaining unchanged. Sorry, with a change to the time to 3 p.m.
So councillor Sullivan, is that what point 4, is that correct? I'm sorry, we're changing point 1. Are you happy with that?
Yes, that is my proposed amendment.
And you are happy to move that?
Yes.
Can I have a seconder? Councillor Rumble. Did you want? Okay. Can I just ask a question? Sorry, we've gone. With the report, can that be amended, please? Because the consultation, I was consulted and I wasn't added to that report in regard to this item. Can we amend that report?
Excuse me, through the chair, do I do that now in the consultation section?
Yes.
Bear with me.
Thank you. So is there anyone dissent with this amendment? Perhaps no being dissent. I will take that as carried 8-0. Item 14, Infrastructure Services Report. 14.1, request to dedicate stages 4A and part 4B of Manawara Red Dog Highway. Officer's recommendation that council support the dedication of the land, the subject of main roads drawings 2260-021-2, 2260-022-2, 2260-023-5, 2260-024-4, 2260-025-3, and 2260-0263, attachment 2 of any minor variations as a road pursuant to Section 56 of the Land Administration Act 1997. Are there any questions in relation to this item? No questions? May I please have a move and second as resolve this item? Thank you, Councillor Rumble and Councillor Rogers. Any dissent? There's no dissent. I will take that as carried. 8-0. So item 14.2 have been deferred until late, as previously advised, that item will be deferred until later ordinary council meeting as the administration has not received ministerial approval on this item. 14.3, propose local planning policies for local planning scheme zone LPP 9.5 and LPP 9.6. Officer's recommendation that council, in accordance with the provision of Schedule 2, Clause 2 of the Planning and Development Local Planning Scheme Regulation 2015, resolves to advertise the following draft local planning policies. LPP 9.5, extractive industries. LPP 9.6, urban landscaping, as detailed in attachment 1 and 2 for public comment for a period of not less than 21 days, and 2, following completion of public comment period, receive a further report detailing the outcomes of the advertising, including any submission received for consideration. Are there any questions in relation to this item, councillors? There being no questions, may I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor White. Seconder, Councillor Rumble. Is there any dissent? There being no dissent, we'll take that as carried. 8-0. Item 15, Community Development Report. 15.1, Streeter Live Stream 2 Grant Support. Officer's recommendation that council supports the development and submission of the of an application to the Street Alive Stream 2 grant program, seeking up to $100,000 to undertake a community-led road safety, placemaking and public art project along Central Road, Tom Price. And 2, recognises the project as an opportunity to address a long-standing community concern by improving safety, amenity, connectivity and vibrancy. And 3, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to execute all necessary funding agreements and associated documentations should the application be successful. Are there any questions in relation to this item? There being no questions, may I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Rogers, can I have a seconder? Councillor Rumble. Is there any dissent? There being no dissent, I take that item as carried. 15.2, Parabadoo Youth Centre refurbishment. Councillor, as well previously advised, this item is to be deferred until September ordinary council meeting, as the administration has not received ministerial approval on this item. Item 16, councillor agenda items, notices of motion. 16.1, notice of motion 087/2026, Shire of Ashburton 2026-2027 Small Business Grant Program. Council's recommendation that Council amends Council Decision 087/2026 as stated below. That Council endorses the Economic, Tourism and Development Committee recommendation, and 1, supports the delivery of the Shire of Ashburton 2026-2027 Small Business Grants Program. Adopt the Small Business Grant Policy as detailed in Attachment 1 and the Small Business Guidelines detailed in Attachment 2, with changes to include 2 elected members as part of the grant assessment process and reduce the funding allocation to be no more than $5,000 per application per financial year. Support a budget allocation of $80,000 excluding GST in the 2026-2027 budget for the 2026-2027 Shire of Ashburton Small Business Grant Program by removing the words from item 2 and reduce the funding allocation to be no more than $5,000 per application per financial year and replacing them with a maximum funding allocation of up to $10,000 per application per financial year in accordance with the original Small Business Grant Policy and Small Business Grant Guidelines 2025-2026. Is there anyone who has any questions regarding this? Councillor White.
Yes,
Can I have you turn on your mic, please?
I think we should go to debate on this.
Well, that's a question. Have you got a question regarding this item? We haven't even...
You got a move or a second, yeah.
Yes. So have you got a question?
No.
Okay. All right. May I please have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Noon, a seconder. I will move it as a seconder. Councillor Noon, as the speaker, and from what Councillor White said, would you like to speak on this item?
Yes, thank you. Firstly, just addressing some so they're saying that there was canvassing on this item. So I have followed Walga and governance advice in bringing this motion back to council, which requires support from 2 other councillors to bring the item back in and confirmation from the president. This does not constitute canvassing to vote a particular way on the item at the meeting. It is to bring the item back. As a part of this process, emails of information from Oki and Picky were presented to all councillors at the Shire of Ashburton. That was not the first time that those letters were received. They were first received directly from the president. I think it was addressed to the president and the CEO, if I recall correctly, and then forwarded to all councillors prior to my ask of 2 others in support of bringing this back to council. Secondly, given the information provided, we are being given the opportunity to support the Tourism and Economic Committee recommendation that is in line with additional information received from both the Pilbara Chamber of Commerce and the Onslow Chamber of Commerce. Both stakeholders are in regular communication with local businesses and understand each business's needs with much more rigour than any of us here in this room. Thirdly, supporting this item going back to the original proposed $10,000 maximum grant amount supports strong stakeholder engagement and decision making based upon data from our first round of business grants, where majority of those who applied did apply for more than $5,000. It's listening to and acting upon professional advice of those in roles who work directly with those impacted by this grant program. And the high application uptake in our first round of business grants shows that the existing terms provided high interest and delivered high outcomes for local business that in turn improves services for our small towns. The time it takes to apply, collate relevant attachments, and then equip the funds is costly for small businesses. Maintaining the original terms should please our main stakeholders and achieve similar outcomes to that of our first round of grants.
Thank you, Councillor Noon. I'm also in support of this motion because reducing the grant gap from 10,000 to 5,000 risk turning a highly successful economic development program into one which is far less impact. The feedback from both of our Shire chambers of commerce within the Shire, Picky and Oki, is unequivocal. The majority of successful projects funded in the inaugural round required support above $5,000, and it was that level of investment that enabled businesses to undertake meaningful improvements, purchase equipment, increase productivity and grow their operations. We constantly speak about economic diversification, supporting local business and building resilient communities. This program is one of the few direct tools Council has to do to exactly that. In a region where costs, freight equipment are significantly higher than elsewhere, 5,000 simply does not go as far as it once did. This motion does not ask Council for an extra dollar. The budget remains still 80,000. The only question before us is whether we want to fund projects that are transformational or projects that are merely affordable. Restoring the 10,000 cap gives Council the flexibility to back the best ideas, the strongest businesses, and the project that will deliver the greatest return to our communities. Our business committee have asked us to listen. The evidence from first grant round support their position. If we are serious about supporting small business growth in Ashburton, I believe we should reinstate the original 10,000 funding cap and give this program the opportunity to continue delivering real results. Is there anyone who likes to speak against this item? Councillor White.
Yes, I would, because we've already gone to have this advertised at $5,000, and I don't know how we're going to change that. We'd have to muck around and do that. I think the $5,000 would encourage more home businesses to start up, and that was my original thought when we first voted on this, and I thought Council's decision, let's wait and see what applicants we get for the 5,000. If we don't get enough, then we reevaluate the situation after that, because there's been a bit of controversy about the ones that we gave the allocation of the $10,000 to.
Is there a fact to that we haven't seen any controversy.
Okay, no worries then, I'll retract that then, because I don't have it in writing, okay? So that's just my thoughts on it, and, yeah, we've voted on that before, and, it's been advertised at 5,000, just let's wait and see how many applicants we get.
So anyone, are you finished? Yeah, thank you, councillor White. Anyone likes to speak for? There's no one. Councillor Noon, as a right of reply, close this debate.
Yes, I do believe that these fees have already been advertised. I think the first it was firstly advertised to businesses directly through the chambers, with a link to the website prior to it going onto our Facebook page, and I believe that's how the discussion for feedback began. It is just a small administrative task to change that $5,000 amount to $10,000 in the advertisement. I think that having it up to 10,000, it doesn't nullify those smaller home businesses to start up. They are still applicable to apply for smaller amounts as well. But I think we risk some projects not being able to go ahead because they do require that higher finance. So this would include more businesses applicable to apply rather than less.
Thank you, councillor Noon. Now, can I please put this to a vote? If you're for, please raise your hand. That is, motion is lost. 2-6. Councillor, procedure motion. I would like to move a procedure motion for council to accept a new agenda item for item 17, new business of an urgent nature introduced by council. Decision. May I please have a seconder for this procedural motion? Councillor Noon. Is there any dissent? There's no dissent. I take that this motion as carried. In addition to this, I would also like a mover and seconder for an additional procedural motion for council to move behind closed doors at 1:43 p.m. pursuant to clause 6.2 of the Shire of Ashburton Standing Orders Local Law 2012 to consider following confidential items. 17.1 approval of amended Chief Executive Officer employment contract. So item 17.1, approval of amended Chief Executive Officer employment contract that has been carried 7-1. Item 18.1, rating concession Port of Ashburton leases that has been carried 8-0. And item 18, ARI.8, Whitman claims update that has been carried 8-0. Item 19, next meeting. The next ordinary council meeting will be held at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, 22nd of September 2026 at the Shire of Ashburton, Onslow Council Chambers, Onslow. Item 20, closure of meeting. There being no further business, I close this meeting at 2:19 p.m.